Have you ever tried to make someone's dreams come true?
For my best mate's stag,
Or bachelor party?
I attempted to reunite every member of his teenage band from across the globe to play the headline gig they never got to play. It did not go to plan.
But it was the most epic surprise I've ever had. I literally cried.
So epic that we created a critically acclaimed comedy special all about it.
It's pretty much the best thing we've ever done.
And we're going to perform it right now.
Wait, what?
Please welcome on stage Max and Yvonne!
Hey y'all! I got married, baby! It was boss.
Yes, we must respect her wishes. Queen, done me well! All right, it's lovely to be here. For those who've not met us before, we are Max and Yvonne. I'm Max, and I've got an M.A. in Excellence.
Oh, nice. I'm Yvonne, and I've got an IV in my anus.
Really?
Yeah.
Horrible. Did not know that.
Now you do.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here this evening due to one reason.
Public transportation.
That is not what I meant. No, not in the slightest. No.
Private transportation.
Clearly, yes. No, we're here for something far more fundamental.
Nitrogen! The bad boy of air. Odorless. Tasteless. Just like my uncle. Except it's odorless.
Smelly man.
Yeah, smelly boy.
Smelly boy. No, we're here because last year, Yvonne got down on one knee on a kayak full of rose petals with live sitar music in the background and asked me to be his best man. It was absolutely wonderful.
He said yes.
I did. How did your actual proposal go, by the way?
Not as smooth.
Right.
It was 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later?
Yeah.
Extraordinary choice.
And I'd blown the budget.
Right.
Couldn't afford a ring.
Surprise. Now, I was honoured to be asked, but shortly after that, the reality of the pressure set in. I had a stag to organise. I had to create a lavish, complex feat of entertainment entirely without Yvonne's help. And as well as writing this show, I had a stag to organise.
What?
It's fine, have your sweets.
Ooh.
Now, what is a stag? At its worst, it's an afternoon spent in a Milton Keynes strip club with my second cousin and his friends from the Territorial Army, aggressively drinking pitchers of WKD passion fruit in grim silence whilst the father of the bride massages his visible erection through his hiking trousers and repeatedly mumbles the words, "That's the ticket." But it has the potential to be something special. A chance to reflect on the past and rejoice in the possibilities of the future. A celebration of friendship, of the people who give structure to your lives so you can depend on and rely on. What do we do with the packet?
We don't eat it.
We don't eat it. I wanted Yvonne's stag to be special. And to understand what I did and why, we have to look back through the years, starting with his birth in 1986.
Which is remarkable, given my playing gauge on Spotlight is still 16 to 25.
We begin in Liverpool, where Yvonne was born.
To a Scouse mum.
And an Argentinian father.
And now, to confuse matters further, let's move to Spain for the first 9 years of his life.
Before moving back due to still unspecified tax reasons.
A year later, Max is born in sunny, violent Portsmouth.
Where his eccentric bohemian parents commit to raising him in a very experimental, free-form manner.
We shall teach our child to dream big.
Dream big.
And nothing's impossible.
Nothing's impossible.
And now let us begin by getting him to call us by our first names instead of Mum and Dad.
Yes, that won't make him seem like a precocious little shit at all.
Well, I'm back from Spain and here I am in Liverpool. Time to make new friends and bond over our love of popular music, like Radio Futura, Héroes del Silencio, and Mamacita, ¿Dónde está Santa Claus? By Charo.
Mate, what's going on with your accent, mate? It sounds pure ridiculous, mate. I'm Mike.
Over the years, the boys grew up, and Max eagerly attempted many things.
Some were fairly ridiculous.
Max, my boy, what are you wearing for non-uniform day?
Well, Stuart, I've decided to go to non-uniform day dressed as a candle.
I see.
Yes, no one else is dressing up, but it's not technically against the rules, so they actually can't stop me.
Right.
Next term, I'm going to go dressed as Mickey Mouse, in an outfit which I very much make myself.
Oh. I'm sure that won't make any of the other students cry.
Some ideas were extremely ridiculous.
Max, my boy, did you have fun staying up late at night at your friend Rishi's house watching WrestleMania?
Yeah, dream big. Nothing's impossible, that's what he told me. So I've decided to become the UK's youngest professional wrestler.
What?
You're going to end up making me wrestling gear,
Really?
driving me to wrestling shows, watching loads of wrestling. It's going to become a huge part of your life.
I'm really beginning to regret this free-form parenting style.
Massive fucking mistake, yes. Let's neglect the next two children.
Absolutely.
Ivan, meanwhile, was single-mindedly focused on just one goal.
I know, deep within my soul, that I will be the world's greatest rock star. Even though I do currently look like an assistant manager at a hi-fi store who's trying to hide his stressful divorce.
And just a few years later, the journey began.
Mike, what do you mean you want to form a band?
Yeah, mate, I'm looking for a frontman, and everyone else in school is too busy hanging out with their girlfriends.
Girlfriends? That's not going to be a problem for me for another 4 years and 2 years. 6 years. 6 full long years.
Yes. As a teenager, the only thing Ivan was in was a band. And for his stag, my big plan was
To get the band back together!
the only problem being...
They all said no!
Yes, indeed.
It's a real shame, guys, because we were super boss. I was the lead singer.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see, cold sores have always been an issue.
It was more than just the lead singer, by the way. Ivan played the melody horn.
Yes, or as I rebelliously labelled it, the melody horny!
Oh, yeah. Here is the full lineup.
Oh yeah, that's our first ever gig, promoted by the prestigious Band Network.
Oh, yeah. Now let's meet the boys.
On lead guitar, Jay.
Hello.
He's got a license to thrill.
Technically, it's a prescription for anxiety, but yeah.
Sure. On drums, Dan.
Sound?
Invited to join the band because he said he had his own drum kit.
I did, but turns out they were fucking bongos, mate!
Uh-oh, too late!
The earth is flat.
What? On bass, Mark.
Hi.
6'11".
And that's, 2 separate measurements.
A very confident young man. And finally, on rhythm guitar, Mike.
Mike! And I swear down, if we don't become the most successful band that Liverpool has ever produced, I will quit abruptly in 2005.
Did Mike quit, or did our band become bigger than the Zootons?
What we can tell you is that Ivan's band went through a number of incarnations.
Oh, yeah.
At first, they were known as Trip.
Trip, trip, trip. Yes, we called ourselves Trip after we formed on a 12-hour, mind-expanding trip to the Tate Art Gallery in London.
And what did Trip sound like with Ivan as the lead singer? Almost certainly not as you'd expect, because they sounded like this.
All right, listen up. This is a small song from a small band named Trip. Rasta vibration.
That's not cool, is it?
Not cool, not in the
Not
slightest.
acceptable
Not
nowadays.
acceptable. Or, in fact...
Or back when we
no,
recorded
ever,
it.
at any point.
Never has been, never will be.
No.
Acceptable.
No,
Ugh.
No. Happily, the band's style changed.
Oh, yeah.
And in the tradition of all the great bands, so too did their name.
Hell yeah.
They were next known as Harlequin Circus.
Would you believe that name was available?
Yes. That lasted for literally 24 hours.
Yeah, long enough to make it into the local paper, though.
Oh, yes, Wirral Leisure there, never once to miss what genuinely appears to be a front-page scoop for some reason. They then changed their name to Voodoo 72.
Would you believe that name was available?
That's Voodoo, inspired by...
The name of Mike's grandma's cat.
And 7:2, meaning...
Nothing!
Yes, indeed. But Voodoo 72 was the name that stuck, and over the course of school, college, and in Ivan's case, an ill-advised 2 consecutive gap years,
Namaste.
the boys focused on making it in the band.
What was our sound?
It was that well-loved genre, art rock, post-punk funk. And it sounded like this.
Down on the players where it's at. That was a little extract from La Playa, a song about a magical musical beach where all your dreams come true.
Yes.
We used to open every set with it because it was a massive hit.
Not the case.
It was a fairly big hit.
Also untrue.
It was quite popular.
False.
It was the one song I could always remember the lyrics to.
Yes. Speaking of lyrics, they were written by Ivan and Mike in a big all-nighter, and they were stuck for inspiration about what you might find on this magical beach. And Mike was a chef, an aspiring chef, so they flicked open this French cookbook that he'd been practicing with, and they vowed that whatever Ivan randomly placed his finger on would be the ingredients you'd find on this magical beach, giving the world this iconic chorus line.
What's in it for me? All the salt and pepper you'll ever need. Salt and pepper!
Salt and pepper.
Those
and pepper.
elite French chefs with their refined ingredients. You know, fun fact, guys, my big plan for the end of that song was to be showered by salt and pepper. But the band put it to a vote and voted against it 5-0.
5-0, so you voted against your own idea.
Ultimately, I just want to be liked.
Okay. Voodoo 72 was starting to get recognised.
Yeah, a local paper gave me my best review ever, citing my remarkably clear diction and expressive hands. An excellent description, ha ha ha.
He's still got it, folks. Oh, yeah. And blessedly, there is video footage of this time. So strap in, because Teenage Ivan had a catchphrase.
Let's rock this place.
Let's rock this place. Let's rock this place up. Come on.
He had some big tunes. This is, of course, La Playa kicking off the set.
And back in the day, oh baby, did I have some sweet dance moves.
Ay.
I know, right? Thank you. Whew. Unfortunately, I no longer move with such grace and elegance. That's all I've got.
So the band were going from strength to strength, and they got invited back to perform once again by the Band Network.
This time to perform our very first headline set. But then...
Sorry, mate, I can't make the gig.
Mike, what do you mean?
I've been offered a placement as a chef. They've had a dropout. It starts tonight.
A chef? Well, sure, that's your dream job. And sure, it'll provide you with money and job security. But apart from those things, what can it give you that the band can't?
All the salt and pepper I'll ever need. Look, we gave it a shot. I think it's time to call it a day.
But the band...
The band will be fine without me, mate. You're the front man. Steer the ship. Voodoo 72's gonna do just great.
Yeah!
The band broke up less than 90 minutes after that conversation.
Paving the way for the Zootons.
Yes. With Voodoo, it was really a case of musical differences.
Yes. Our music was different to that which people enjoyed.
Yes. Tale as old as time. But Ivan never fully gave up on the band.
No way!
And since then, his relationship with the boys has been a series of increasingly one-sided messages, with generally Ivan trying to drunkenly reform the band for one last gig. So this is Ivan really steering the ship in the Voodoo Boys group chat there, not a lot of action. And this conversation with Mike starts badly and gets worse, and by the end I would say Ivan's behaviour comes across as genuinely disturbing. Doesn't cover himself in glory. Yeah, it's bleak stuff.
That's a real shame, guys, because from the age of 6, I wanted to be a famous rock star.
Which, in fairness, is a properly cool dream.
Yeah.
By comparison, we discovered that when I was 6, my dream was to be a stick man. When my teachers told me that that was impossible, I then upgraded my aspirations to be a conductor, citing the twin healthy reasons of fancy clothes and power.
Your teacher didn't go for stick man, hey?
I did not go for stickman, and I have to say, I don't think my illustration helped matters at all. It was not great. Not great. No, really not good. I think I am Jewish, by the way, which I think makes it worse. But yeah, not great.
I'm all for boss dreams, but that drawing was super non-boss, mate.
Incidentally, I'm the one who encouraged Ivan to try and expand his vocabulary.
Boss idea?
Because, as you may have heard, there is a word which he massively overuses.
Sizzle.
What?
Oh, sorry, just a new catchphrase I'm trying out there. Sizzle. No, that word, of course, is boss, boss, boss.
I've literally banned myself from saying it in front of Ivan so as not to encourage him.
I've heard you say it once before, mate, and let me tell you, when you said it, that was sizzle.
No, thank you. But there are more adjectives than just the B word. Is
Whoa,
all I'm
boss is
saying.
more than an adjective. Right. Check it out. What's Max's relationship to me? Boss. What's my third favourite type of ANOVA? Boss. Who dressed the Nazis? Boss.
The point being, as a result of my encouragement, Ivan signed up for what turned out to be a completely bullshit word of the day app.
Nothing bullshit about vocabulary Leroy's sayings, mate.
There really is.
If there's a better vocab app on the dark web, I'd be keen to know about it.
Why is he smoking? None of them are even real words.
They are real words. What about yesterday's? Soft on.
I've not heard of soft
You know,
on.
it's like a nostalgic hard-on.
Right, okay. Yeah. As in...
I've got a soft on for Spanish-American singer-songwriter Chado.
Okay.
Gucci.
I've not personally heard of that.
Okay, what about 9?
I mean, that's literally just the number 9.
You gotta know it!
Yes, but I don't know if that justifies its place.
All right,
within
what about capital 9?
What is a what's a capital 9?
You know, it's an uppercase number.
What do you mean? What is an uppercase number?
You know, same numerical value, but better.
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay, and then finally we've got...
that is a percentage
Olo.
sign. What? No, that's a percentage sign.
Olo.
Sorry,
You've got to, when you read it,
Are you reading that as a...
Olo.
Are you reading that as a... No, that is absolute... That is not... That is
Olo.
a percentage. Stop saying
So
Olo.
it's a European word.
Where in Europe?
Main bit.
Just mainland Europe. I don't know. Please stop saying Olo. Stop. Why are you tilting your head? No.
Oh, well, tilt to the left. You're a bit confused. You're not sure what's going on. Olo.
No, absolutely
Tilt
not.
to the right. You're really happy and excited. Olo.
No, Ivan.
One of the bossest words
come
around. Now, guys, Max wanted to get my band back together because he knew that I had a massive soft on for Voodoo 7-2.
Fine. But the problem was the rest of the band had moved on to new and exciting projects.
Are you saying that I don't have exciting projects on the go right now?
I'm just saying that...
I'm the face of coughing on stock image websites.
No, I've been meaning to...
Lest we forget.
There's really not
Had a lot of downloads, guys.
Who took these photos?
I don't know. He's wearing a mask.
He's wearing them. What's that? That's not... No one's ever need... No one's
you know.
ever... Absolutely not. No, that... Ivan, I just worry. I mean, I'm sure they're very popular. I just think maybe you should have those removed from the internet. Yeah, that's no one's ever coughed that way ever in their life. But thanks for sharing those. But that's wonderful. Thanks for that, Ivan. I can't help but notice that you've added some bits to the old show there.
Yeah, I zhuzhed it up a bit.
Right, okay.
Which coincidentally is today's word of the day.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Zhuzhed it up a bit.
Absolutely not. No.
Actually, it's the last word of the course, which
Right.
means I've completed it and I get this pretty sweet certificate.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Why are they
much.
both smoking?
So, not just the Voodoo boys who are doing well for themselves.
No. But both Ivan and the Voodoo boys were doing well for themselves, as I discovered when I tried to get the band back together. You see, life had got in the way.
From lead guitar to lead fuel efficiency engineer, Jay.
Do I want to reform the band for one last completely frivolous gig? Yes. Is that reason enough for me to leave my heavily pregnant girlfriend in Berlin? I have been told no.
On drums, filled with water due to his job in water treatment, Dan.
Soz, mate, I work in Florida now. Plus, I actually sold me drum kit to briefly train with Shaolin monks in a story that's too long and bizarre to go into the show, but is nonetheless genuinely true. The earth is hollow.
What? On the base of a mountain in rural Canada, Mark.
Sorry, man. Gonna have to give the whole thing a miss, I'm afraid. I now do some sort of impossibly manly job called industrial access, which somehow involves keeping snow off a gold mine, which I explained to you once and you don't understand but are too embarrassed to ask me about again. Oh, an eagle.
And finally, on rhythm, nothing, because he's now a chef, Mike.
No.
Wasn't into the idea.
Didn't fancy it, and he wasn't around either. He was off doing important chef stuff.
Yeah, you know, Mike and I have this ongoing joke that I'll never be able to afford to eat at one of his fancy restaurants. And that joke, of course, is that it's not a joke.
No. So the upshot was, not only could I not get the band back together, none of them could even make the stag.
Yeah, as they told me in the group chat, or sort of told me.
Yeah, Jay, of course, is the only one who actually bothers to respond.
This is probably the bit that hurt the most.
Ooh, ice cold work from Mike South there. Assassin. Very, very cruel. So my attempt at reuniting Voodoo 7-2 was a tragic failure.
Tragic failure? Just like my uncle, inventor of deep-fried soup balls.
They'll burn you.
They will. They really will. Horrible. So things weren't looking great. Now, a lesser man,
Yes?
that's not what that means, might have given up. But I was raised with the uncompromising, not to say unrealistic watchwords of dream big, nothing's impossible. That's what led to my creative non-uniform days at school. Other looks which I served from this era included a wizard and one of the cast of Cats. Yes, I was living my best life, and there was nothing that school bully Darren Glasby could do about it. After I moved schools midway through the term due to his horrendous and highly successful bullying campaign. But as a result, I moved to a more accepting school where my eccentricities were allowed to flourish. So it was there that I was allowed to, for example, create my own school yearbook, which I spent about 20,000 man-hours meticulously creating by hand. Are these the actions of a virile young shagger about town? No. Are they the actions of a 15-year-old who spent a lot of his time doing promenade street theatre in Gunwharf Quay's retail outlet dressed as a sailor clown? Yes. That's me there in the reaction lenses. You know what rhymes with reaction lenses? Not many frenzies. But these are, in fact, two of my frenzies, Rishi and Joe, who I've remained incredibly close with over the years. Joe recently got married and asked me to be the celebrant at his wedding. As such, I got ordained, not once, dream big. I got ordained 4 times. Covered for all the good stuff you could possibly need. Rishi, of course, introduced me to pro wrestling. Dream big, we both became wrestlers. We wrestled each other all across the country. Yeah, why not? And when it came to organising my first ever party, Rishi's 18th, dream big, I created a meticulous series of equations to help me do so. Now, we've discovered these and we're going to share them with you this evening, but as they are party equations, Ivan,
Ahoy!
stick on some party music.
Can do! I play the melodica, my name is Ivan.
Anything else.
We'll go with
Anything
this
else.
instead. Let's equations!
Here we see that the banter quality decreases by a factor of 10 for every 1 rugby player per 20 human guests. Bringing booze to a house party?
Plus 20 points!
Bringing a dog to a house party?
Plus 50 points!
Bringing a drunk dog?
Get out!
Get the fuck out! What's wrong with you?
Doing?
Be wary of the uncle equation. Real ale over time equals racism. And unfortunately, some uncles do operate using an even simpler equation. It's very difficult to know what to do about that. Just don't invite them, frankly. And all of these equations add or subtract points from 4 essential categories: surprise, buzz, sentimentality, and organisation.
So wait, what you're trying to say is a party has to be boss!
No, I would not say that.
Yeah, you said it once before, mate.
Okay, because it's impossible to combine all 4 elements into one moment, what you need is a positive combination of all 4 across the night, which you can then add together, giving you a precise final score, enabling you to create the perfect party with not just any atmosphere, the right atmosphere.
Atmosphere? Sounds like a job for nitrogen! Even its atomic number's cool. Sizzle.
Thank you. Now, I used those equations to help me obsessively organise 4 parties over the course of my life, 3 of which were not a catastrophic failure that haunts my nightmares. The first was, of course, Rishi's 18th, in which we all got dressed up in suits and surprised Rishi with the classiest journey from Portsmouth to London we could possibly think of, a white stretch limousine, which arrived playing his favourite song, Ecuador, by Sash, which I'd had to download from LimeWire, burn onto a CD and post to the driver in Bedhampton.
giving us a score of 458.
Then there was my dad's 70th birthday, in which he was led into his favourite theatre in Portsmouth. Surprise! There's more than one theatre in Portsmouth. But it was filled with all of his friends and loved ones from around the world, and we screened a film which we'd shot in secret over the course of the year, featuring everyone who couldn't be there in person.
Scoring 634.
And then there was Rishi's 30th birthday, in which, after much careful consideration, we recreated every single element of his 18th birthday, beat for beat. Rishi's the only one who still lives in Portsmouth, so 6 of us had to get the train down from London in order to get the limousine straight back up.
Scoring a career best of 753.
Incidentally, divided by 6 people, a limo from Portsmouth to London, much cheaper than the train. Genuinely, yeah. Also, if you book with Kevin from Bedhampton Limos, comes with a free bottle of pear and bubblegum flavoured champagne.
It'll burn you.
Yeah, do not drink it. Don't drink it, please. All of which is to say that I don't do things by halves.
And I don't do things...
No, that kind of sums up where we're at. And although I wanted to make the stag, about Ivan, other than his failed music career, he doesn't really have a great deal of interests.
So that's about 12 credit cards, mate.
What? 12 credit cards?
Yeah, what?
12 credit cards?
What? Credit cards are just like buses, aren't they? I can't afford to use them, but I have to every single day.
Yeah.
Unless it's a failed, mate. My music career's in a pretty solid place.
Your music career?
Yeah.
Your music career?
I'm a face busker now.
What busker?
I do a lot of face busking. Little shout out to Russell Crowe there. The R's for Russell Crowe, and I've copyrighted that.
Who is giving you this legal advice?
Probably easiest if I just show you what face busking is by doing some. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to shout out an epic song that everybody knows, and I'll face busk it right here, right now.
Oh, wow.
So hit me up with an epic song. Africa by Toto.
All right, here we go. Oh.
Okay. Here we go. It's coming. Still going.
Thank you! And that was face busking!
Shout out to Ivan's visible facial bruising.
See, my dream is very much still alive and kicking.
Point taken.
How about you, Max? You said you had a pretty boss dream, if I remember rightly.
I wouldn't have said that, but what do you mean, being a stick man? What? No, sadly, Darren Glasby, the school bully, never let me hear the end of that one. And incidentally, although I am using his real name, as I pointed out to people, there are thousands of Darren Glasbys in the UK. So to be very clear, it is this prick that I'm talking about.
No, I actually meant conducting.
Conducting? No. Sadly, I never got the chance to live that dream either, despite having written, as we discovered, what I feel is a very persuasive haiku. Yes. Entitled, I Want to Be a Conductor. The old 575. It begins quite strongly, waving my baton. Fair enough, can't argue with that. Takes a real dip in the second line. A vehicle for my skills. What an obnoxious thing to write. And then the final line, 5 syllables, very simply, fancy clothes power. Just back to that. Well, tunnel vision there. Sort of knew what I wanted. But unfortunately, my teacher said that Portsmouth did not afford those sort of opportunities. And again, I don't think my illustration help matters in the slightest.
Whoa.
It's really not great. Really not great. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. It is bad. Speaking of bad, the fourth party which I organised was, unfortunately, Ivan's 30th.
Yes. And by the way, if there are any casting directors in tonight, that will, of course, be in 9 years' time. No, the plan for the party was great, though.
The plan was strong. It should have begun. Party boat on the Thames,
Surprise!
operated by a man called Captain DJ, with the rather winning motto, all hands on decks.
Nice. Sentimentality. Nice to see an old man living his best life.
And for the finale of the evening, I had a special karaoke version of La Playa, made from scratch.
Buzz.
Yeah, there's this Japanese website. You can send them any original song, and they'll send you back a karaoke version on CD, complete with the words, and one of those bizarre, completely unrelated music videos.
High-tech organisation.
Yeah. And whilst Ivan's dream of being showered with salt and pepper is obviously the ramblings of a simpleton,
Shaboy.
I had ordered some black and white confetti. So the end of the night should have been a delighted Ivan being showered with confetti while singing this.
But I hear you say, what's in it for me? All the salt and pepper you'll ever need.
Who is that woman?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
The party should have scored this. But it actually scored this.
Yeah. The problem being, does anyone remember Storm Imogen? She landed that very day. We're talking torrential rains, gales of 96 miles per hour, and midway through the afternoon, me getting a phone call from a very tearful Captain DJ announcing that as he spoke to me, his boat was very, very slowly sinking into the Thames.
The reality?
The reality was 20 people in incredibly rainy central London with nowhere to go on a Friday night, dressed in nautical clothing. Dinner was in giraffe. For the 17 of us who could get in, the other 3, I think, ended up going a Leon Boots meal deal and a hot dog street vendor who gave away the hot dog for free because, in his words, the rain had made it bad. Mike, the only UK-based member of the band, was nowhere to be seen. He was supposed to be there, and we ended up the night in the world's worst karaoke bar. The confetti hadn't arrived due to the storm, so a group of us half-heartedly threw sachets of salt and pepper at Ivan's face.
I got a paper cut on my cold sore.
As he sung La Playa, which on the oldest karaoke machine in the world sounded and looked like this.
The salt and pepper you'll ever need.
Still sang the whole thing, though!
Yeah! Lasted about 16 minutes. In the end, we all got the last train home.
The opposite of buzz.
At which point, I received this text from Mike. Soz, I missed all your calls. Just finished my shift. Everything's set for tomorrow. Looking forward. It's my last day off for the whole year. I'd given him the wrong date. So, the stage was set for Ivan's stag. There was the pressure of being best man. There was the fact that none of the Voodoo boys could make it.
Minus 300 points.
And there was the grim spectre of Ivan's 30th.
I was the one who ate in boots!
Now was the time to dream big. Here's what happened.
The day before my stag, I had a meeting with my agent in a posh London hotel.
Surprise! The whole meeting was a ruse!
I don't even have an agent!
Who did he think he was meeting? Very vulnerable man. But the whole stag started a day early.
Plus 200 points!
I'd assembled a very strong crew, including our good friend Tom, and some other great people.
Plus 45 points each!
Yes!
Max met me and led me up in the lift to the largest hotel room that I've ever seen in my life. It was 58 square meters bigger than my flat!
See, Ivan absolutely loves hotels, even shit ones.
Check it out!
So I'd taken it upon myself to find him the best hotel room in London.
Sentimentality.
And I did.
Organisation.
I checked the price.
Surprise!
There was no way in hell I could possibly afford it.
Oh.
No.
Max, if you're ever stuck for cash, you know I can always hook you up with Monzo.
Oh, thanks, man.
He's my Ukrainian loan shark who I'm paying back with 12 credit cards.
No. Thankfully, that won't be necessary. Because as soon as I had assumed the mantle of best man, I'd set up a new email account and sent the hotel the following message. To whom it may concern, glad tidings! I am Geloofwaardig Naam, a Dutch art house film director with work in many galleries. I am in the midst of creating an art rock post-punk funk experience and come to you offering the opportunity to donate your presidential suite for 30 exciting days of experimental filming. A couple of things here. I figured that if I'd asked for just 1 day free of charge, they would tell me to do one. So if I went in with an incredibly unreasonable high-end 30 days for nothing, then, there was room for some back and forth. They could kind of whittle me down to a more reasonable, say, 1 night. Also, whilst this was technically a complete lie, I had made it very, very easy for them to unpick if they'd wanted to. So, for instance, those links to my work in many galleries, just links to the home pages of various art galleries, I provided no proof whatsoever. And Geloofwaardig Naam is, of course, Google Translate Dutch for believable name. Felt like a victimless crime if I could pull it off. Furthermore, as a freelance writer-performer, what I have in my arsenal is an almost unlimited amount of free time. I was prepared to try and wear the hotel down, and I gave it a go over the course of 306 emails, all of which we have here this evening. Now, there's no time to go through them all. We've developed a system. In a second, someone needs to shout stop, and then if Am will read out the hotel side of things, I'll read out my side of things, and we'll explain where we were in the process. So, over to you. Okay, so this was about halfway through the back and forth.
I'm afraid your request for just 3 weeks filming free of charge is completely impossible. I'm also sorry to hear of the death of your cast member, Dr. Hans, but I'm unable to attend his wake, nor can we provide the catering. Best, Xander.
Yes. Xander did put up with quite a lot of shit, in fairness, over the course of this. But very polite man. Should we keep it rolling? Back over to you. Okay, so this is an old-style, backwards smiley emoticon, as sent by Przemek, the DOP of the film, who, of course, crucially doesn't exist. What I did, I started creating lots of fake sock puppet accounts for the entire crew of the film. They started emailing each other and just CCing Xander in 10 to 15 times a day, really sucking him into the kind of production schedule of the whole thing, really getting him into it. Keep it going. Yeah, Xander did quit his job, in fairness, towards the end. Was this my fault? We'll never know. Sorry to hear you're leaving your job, Xander. Sad tidings. Marika, congratulations on the promotion. Xander's been great at organizing the suite for us. We're almost there and can shoot the sequence in 1 day. When would be best? So farewell, Xander, and best of luck. But Marika steps into the fray. She's got this sort of long, mad email thread. It's a predecessor's thing that he hasn't taken care of, and suddenly it feels like something that she might just, want to kind of get sorted and get out of the way. And indeed, after a few more emails...
Oh, sorry, we've jumped. I think that's
this
quite
is right
early.
back, this is back near the beginning. This is, I'm delighted to welcome to our cast Dr. Hans, the smoking chimpanzee. He is primarily non-violent. However, his handler has requested that those who are menstruating do not approach the doctor in his buggy. Poor Dr. Hans, poor Dr. Hans. Didn't end well for him. No, but Marika was on the scene, and after a few more emails...
Hi all, I have availability for the 9th of November.
Success. So day 1 of the stag started here.
Plus 500 points. It was like 5 Premier Inns stuck together.
I'm sure they'd be thrilled with that review. That evening, the hotel booked us in for a VIP table at a swanky West End nightclub.
Minus 300 points.
It was fucking horrible! Yes, it was full of Russian teenage millionaires who kept on ordering luminous bottles of Dom Perignon and screaming, Russia in the house!
Minus 100.
However, our friend Tom somehow joined their group.
Plus 100 points!
How did he do it? Russia really was in the house
Yes,
for Tom
Tom.
Barry. We eventually escaped the club, made it back to the hotel where we apparently indulged in Greek dancing until the early hours of the day.
Plus 85.
Sure. Woke up the next day feeling fragile.
The lowest point was probably when I did a burp, which made my brother throw up.
Minus 40 points.
Yeah, it almost felt like game over.
But then, thanks to the wonders of incredibly low-quality rural Canadian phone signal, Mark joined us.
Hello, Ivan. I'm sorry I can't be there with you this weekend.
Yes, to make up for not being there, Mark and the rest of the band had created a voodoo-themed treasure hunt around London with all the clues being lyrics to our songs.
So we ended up at the planetarium, thanks to this glorious piece of poetry.
What do I see amongst the stars? There's a moose on Mars. There's a moose on Mars.
Moose on Mars, guys. Moose on Mars.
Sure.
Yes. We then went to the fair, thanks to this extraordinary bit of Voodoo 72 lyricism.
If you were my girl, I'd treat you the best. We'd go on the dodgems and then have sex! Yeah.
What a day out that would be.
15-year-old
Vintage.
Bob Dylan over here.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Finally leading to all the salt and pepper you'll ever need.
Where else but Mike's restaurant?
Take that, Mike! I can't afford to eat at your Michelin-starred restaurant if a group of my friends pay for me.
Yes. So we rounded off the weekend with the absolute meal of our lives.
I stood up to make a toast, but I was slightly too loud and somebody told me to be quiet.
Minus 3 points.
But it was Spanish-American singer-songwriter, actress and flamenco guitarist Charo!
Plus 600 points!
Charo was in the house!
She was in the house. Charo was in town. I discovered that she was doing some filming in London. I'd written to her manager, explained everything, and she'd agreed to come over and say hello, all for the love of a lifelong fan. And also for
£60 cash.
fair play. Fair play, Charo. Coochie.
It was an incredible weekend. You know, to put it all into context, I'm a guy who once watched his neighbours have sex in front of their television whilst Ice Road Truckers was playing. and who once put every variety of Rustler's burger patty between two buns, creating what I call the Rustler's Rainbow. And despite those two things, from hotel to meal, this was the best experience of my life.
However, that's before what happened next.
The manager came over to us and said,
Follow me.
"Follow me."
So he led us up through the restaurant, past the bar, out into this back exit, and into an alley, which led to this passageway.
What is going on?
And all of a sudden, we could hear this distant roar.
It was a crowd chanting Voodoo 72.
You see, for the first time in my life, I'd managed to combine buzz, organisation, surprise, and sentimentality into one moment, as Ivan walked on to that stage.
Max, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Okay, so I'll just tell the rest of the band that we'll say we can't go to the stag do. So, sorry, man. Just give me the right fucking date this time.
I got the band back together, baby!
Suddenly I was on stage, Mike was there, Jay had made it from Germany, Dan had flown over from Florida, Mark, who lived in deepest rural Canada, could not be there. His face was printed on a friend's top. The crowd was made up of my friends, my family, my fiancé, all wearing branded Voodoo 72 t-shirts.
Now, I've seen Ivan cry a number of times. But unlike the time he stubbed his toe or was presented with too much choice at a Chinese restaurant, this was out of pure happiness. For the first time in our entire careers, I didn't need to tell him what to do on stage.
Let's rock this place! Powered by a mixture of adrenaline, love, and moderate to severe alcohol poisoning, I managed to stop crying for just 1 second, and then, beneath the banner featuring the band's network from our very first gig, we played the headline set that we never got to play.
Bringing the total score to 1 million.
I think you'll find it was capital 1 million!
So, the set finished, the lights came up, and the band got signed. No, they just went home. That was... no, they went their separate ways. That was it. They all went home. It was over. Yeah.
Yeah. But for one night, I was able to live out my dream. And so to say thank you, Max, I would quite like to help you live out yours.
Oh?
Yeah. I've been planning this ever since you told me you wanted to be a boss conductor.
Obviously, you wouldn't have said that. I don't know what you... Oh, no, bus conductor. I wanted to be a bus conductor. Do you remember? Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. More than bus, train, hovercraft, you know, fancy clothes and power, yes, please. Do you remember the haiku? You know, I was looking for a suitable vehicle for my skills. I wasn't sure whether it be the hovercraft or the bus, but either way, you know, it would have been, I do know, you have a ticket and you have a ticket and you have a ticket and stop. Get off the bus. And obviously, the bus is quite rough, so you need a baton as well. You know, it'd be important if you're going through Paulsgrove, or if you're getting the hovercraft from, you know, Portsmouth to the Isle of Wight, you'd really need a baton because, you know, some of those guys could be rough. It was, but it was absolutely all I ever wanted. Why? Sorry, you were saying?
Nothing.
Oh. Although, of course, my original dream was to be a stick man, or band leader, to give it its full name. I didn't know what it was called at the time. But to stand in front of a group of musicians, you know, leading them, that was all I ever craved. I was absolutely obsessed with it. It was everything I wanted from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, I mean, in a way, that's what led to all of this. I mean, that was my first ever attempt at dreaming big. I stood up in assembly in full costume, but I didn't go far enough. Didn't organise any musicians. Still conducted, though. Yeah. Nobody liked it. Not even that guy. After that, Darren Glasby bullied me so badly that I had to move schools, and I was so haunted by the incident that I vowed to give, 200% to everything I ever did after that. Still, some dreams are impossible.
Not this one. This is the reason why I have 12 credit cards!
This orchestra!
What? No, these guys are volunteers.
Oh.
This is Andre Previn's baton.
Oh my goodness.
Monzo sold it to me. In fact, it comes with 2.
Oh, you've been ripped off, man. What are we playing?
The one song I know all the lyrics to. Let's rock this place! Come on! Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? We're gonna take you to a magical beach where all your dreams come true. You've seen it all before. Just wait until you're through our door. We'll captivate, no doubt about that. Down on the players where it's at. The sign appears, they'll come here. One by one to the player music. But I hear you say, what's in it for me? All the songs that happen you'll never get. One more time. But I hear you say, what's in it for me? All the songs that happen you'll never get.
Thank you so much for watching the show. Now there is a question which people generally ask me after the show, which is,
Why do you work with Ivan if you write all the jokes?
it has been asked. No, the main question is any of it real?
It is.
It is, it's all real. And to prove that we're not bullshitting, we have assembled all of the behind the scenes footage so you can see exactly what happened.
Including
My secret rehearsal with the Voodoo Boys, the full surprise gig itself,
featuring more crying from me.
yes indeed, and some archive footage of 16-year-old Ivan as the frontman of Voodoo 72.
For any record labels watching, we are still unsigned.
Absolutely hot property. So for all that and more, please click the link.
I promise you will find out what a moose on Mars is.
Yes. Now back to the end of the show and Trip's sweet first ever song.
Apologies once again for that accent.
song from a small band named Trip. Rasta Vibration.
Well, in the year 2003, during a 12-hour journey, there were 3 guys who formed a band. Their destiny was to funk up the land. Alright, funk up the land. Yeah. We've got Mark with his fat bass line, keeping up the rhythm all of the time. He's really good at this lapping and bobbing, not to forget his funked up rocking, yeah. Say hi, Mark.
Aloha!
On the guitar we have got Jake, playing it in his own special way. Alright, he's got his Rasta style, picking out a tune every while. Oh yeah, play it like it is, Jake. Now we come to the lyrical master. I'm coming out with lines faster and faster. I play the melodica, my name is Ivan. We are called Trip. Welcome to the band. Totally trippy.
I don't know how the fuck you told me into this, Max.
I got blisters again.
What is a moose on Mars? Let's find out.